And so I think when I think back over my last 6 years of practice, where I've been being with different corporations, where I am now, and then how I would guide the next generation in a sense of what are you going to look for? I think the two things that I would recommend would be mentorship. I think finding a good hospital that has other doctors and other support staff that are willing to come on and take the minute to teach them and be patient with them and continue the learning process, because even though we're a doctor on graduation, that looks very different than your first and second year out. You just get to wear a nice white coat and introduce yourself differently. But I think having mentorship is important. The other thing I think, especially that Vet Evolve has really shown me, is a work-life balance. I think for new grads who don't take into account their initial work-life balance, it makes me worry about the long haul of our profession and what people are really able to do. You know, are we really able to withstand 30 years of going 100 miles an hour? Or, you know, do we have a practice or a corporation or a family that really encourages, these are the hours we want you here and these are the hours we want you to enjoy your life? And I think a small corporation is really helpful for that. You know, being previously with a really large corporation, I think sometimes the waters just get muddied and you as an individual gets a little bit forgotten about. And I think that's where work-life balance goes really out the window unless it's a primary, you know, core belief of your hospital and of your direct leadership. But I think Vet Evolve, for me, especially has just supported that 100%. You know, when I was brought on not necessarily just to fulfill a need that the hospital had at that moment, but it was, okay, well, where do you see yourself in a year? Like, what does even your first year with us, what do you think that looks like for you? And for me to even be able to take that minute and say, oh, well, where do I really want to be in a year? What would my hours look like? Or how would I balance that with my young family? Was really meaningful to me. And I think that's what makes me want to keep coming back. And that's what really I love about Vet Evolve in smaller corporations, is that I think they really do see the individual. And for new grads who I think it's just, well, let's get our feet wet, or unfortunately, you know, well, how much can I make and how fast can I pay off my debt? I think those are two things that have to not be forgotten about, because they're at the core, I think, the most important for us to do this long term.